My God, can she do it again? Can she ever eclipse the sensation that was that rocket of a song that shot her into the public eye? Can Mafra ever eclipse that? That is the question on everybody's mind for this long-awaited sequel, we will say. Although long-awaited might be a bit hit or miss depending on what your meaning for the term is. But I can imagine those desirous to hear that voice again when they saw the notification pop up on their phone yesterday. Mafra, new release, new video. Oh, everyone get in here. We gotta watch the new Mafra song. Oh, get in here. Or more likely, you probably went and squirreled yourself away in some corner of the house so others would not see you crying so profusely, wondering what has you weeping while staring at your phone with those earbuds stuck in. What video it might have been. And this one didn't even involve some old man getting free groceries down at the supermarket. And just as before, I really don't have any training in the vocal skills. I'm not a producer of a song. Despite me having a wonderful singing voice, I actually have no idea what I am speaking of on that matter, the technical front. But I do love the psychological breakdown here with my uneducated ideas. Obviously correct, regardless of what Miss Mafra is going through on this, because she had that tremendous viral hit going around. How many different reactions on there? And now she has to come back to the screen to meet that. She no longer has obscurity to shield her creative endeavors. And by that, I mean, as an unknown, you are free. You have essential freedom to do whatever you want because you don't believe anybody will even see it, really. You don't have any confidence. You've never had something take off. Nothing has ever blessed the world that really caught on. And so you don't even think twice about what you are crafting. You just put out whatever you think sounds good. And now that Mafra has had that success, something happens in the brain where you think, God, now the pressure's on. Everyone loved this other thing I did so much. I wonder, what was it about? Was it the screams? Was it the background? Was it my cleavage? Was it the light? And who knows what it is? They start infiltrating the mind, these little ideas, these little demons wandering. And so it is difficult. I come from a place not of the musical, but I came from a literary background, so I do have some understanding of what this is about. Not that I had a hit single song on the waves, but I have had a number of literary masterpieces, of course, throughout some various years, ranked very highly on the Amazon list and other rankings of that nature, where it comes out and you think, God, this one did so well. I wonder, could the next one happen? What's going on? What do I need? And there's that build-up, the nerves behind it, wondering, is this going to be it? Or can I even equal what I've already done? Or am I over the hill after the one go? And it is from that lens that I examine Miss Mafra here. For now, I'm just going to listen to the song, and then I'll get into a bit of the rambling, idiotic rants, as usual. I'll get the first impression here. This is The Plot in You, Silence. Now, I have never heard of this song or the band before. I've never bore witness to the lyrics, and so I hear it with a bit of fresh ears. I've listened to this a few times already, just the cover, but I'll fire it up here.
I don't feel youthful. I don't feel sad. I don't fuck with these pills anymore. These days move so fast, and I'm starting to notice the ones I held closest take more than what they give back. Yeah, I used to seek violence, now I use silence as my are proper means for attack.
Here it comes.
I don't need anything. I don't need anything. Took a lot of time, but I'm not complaining. Took a lot of paranoia moving through the stages. Every single time I get the feeling that I'm breaking. Think about another time when I was fucking nameless. Mark my words, this ceiling comes with separation. When you get this tape, the feeling comes with desperation. Beat me down, rip my heart in two. There's nothing that you can take. I know it's true.
Hypnotist now.
So let me be around the skies. Tread this road till I've gone too far. Left in peace, kept in bites. Burn this life for the next to start. So let me be. Let me be. Let me be. 'Cause I'm dying to live. I'm sick from the noise. I'll make my way through all that I have to. 'Cause I'm dying to live. And I've been through the void. And now
There's just something about that shrieking scream that really touches the spirit in me here. I love hearing that on there.
from the noise, I'll make my way through all that I have to. 'Cause I'm dying to live. And I've been through the void. And I'll celebrate the fact that I have proof. A state of mind I never tried. I know that it's all my fault to justify the darkest times. Means you never had control. Means you never had control.
And so, that was the plot. In You, Mafra, firing off the next song release here. Still with a bit of theatrics on there, a little more subdued than that last Doomed song. And initial reaction on here, I love the burst of the screams, but I am not as overly smitten by the song in particular as I was with the previous. Now, still, I've listened to it quite a number of times already, as I have said, but it is not my favorite between the two on there. And one thing I found rather humorous on this right away, you go on here and look, you see how many more reaction videos have been released already here, and each one as if the content creator is trying to outdo the other, getting a little bit of clickbait variety to these. Mafra, silence, broke me. Oh, holy beep, this is insane. The little shocked expressions on the faces here trying to match the screams. Vocals are insane. She's back. Now, it's humorous, but I myself, for full transparency, I would never try to ride the coattails of some viral happening just for a few more clicks and views on the channel. I would never try to ride that massive tidal wave of somebody else's success just to get more eyeballs. It would be a despicable, pitiful, pitiable thing to do, and I wouldn't deign to even consider it. So with that out of the way, we're moving back to the viral Mafra song and my reaction to it. Now, first off, I have to wonder right away, were these songs chosen at random because they seem to kind of build upon the psyche of what I imagine is going through the woman's mind, with the doomed one being more the depressed, downtrodden prior to her success really taking off. And then you have this one here, The Plot in You. Observe.
The feeling that I'm breaking. Think about another time when I was fucking nameless. Mark my words, this ceiling comes with separation. When you get this take, the feeling comes with desperation. Beat me down, rip my heart in two. There's nothing that you can take. I know it's true. So let me be along the skies. Tread this road till I've gone too far.
And this one seems to be an outing of that inner critic, professing to the world here, I've had that success, I am now rising. And she is asking to let me be. Now, perhaps I'm reading entirely too much into this. When I was far younger, I used to have a friend, I would say, no matter, pick any song at all, and I can dissect it and tell you exactly the emotional appeal and what is going on in there. Perhaps that is my superpower, or I made the entire thing up. But either way, what I find in here, Mafra's song, Let Me Be, it's her way of trying to rally the troops of the mind, so to speak. She has discussed having the depression and mental issues before. Very common, especially for those artistic people. And so the lyrics,
Left in peace, kept in bites. Burn this life for the next to start. So let me be. Let me be. Let me be.
did she just like the song? Did she like the melody, the rhythm? Or did it have more of a personal meaning to it? And that would be my contention here, is that she brought this up here simply because it spoke to her on a level that gave her that inspiration, that little bit of mental veracity, having the ability to drive forward. Because as I mentioned, when you have a hit come out, it's very difficult to not second-guess yourself. I'm sure she had tremendous amount of nerves prior to releasing this here. Good Lord, can you imagine? You go from the darling of the internet, and now you have to come back with a follow-up everybody's waiting for. Tremendous amount of pressure on there. To put it into perspective here a little bit, this is as if you have crash landed on some alien planet, and you are needing to survive, and there you manage to rub these little things together, sticks or whatever it might be, and a fire starts up. You get some warmth, and you think, oh God, this is, what do I do to keep it going? So you throw some random objects on there, and the flame burst higher. Now you're no longer freezing, you are thriving, you can cook and keep warm, and all this is happening of a favorable nature to you. But then what happens? After that burns so high and bright, it begins going down. And you start looking around and say, what was that I used to fuel this fire? How do I get it to grow back again? So they start grabbing more items, more objects. Let's try this. Let's try that. Throwing on whatever they can. And maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down, and it starts diminishing. Then they get a little panicked now, and they are thinking, well, what was that what was that thing I first put on here? I gotta find that again. So they try to recreate that by throwing whatever looks similar, whatever seems like it might be of the same type. And how many one-hit wonders have you seen? How many have come and gone? They were not able to find that same material to fuel the flames to ever get us high again. It didn't happen. They were extinguished. And so there is a bit of that desperation that happens when you strike gold. You think, okay, I did this worked before. How can I recreate this? And it does weigh heavy on the mind. Another analogy for those who like a little more watery surfaces is if you are drowning in the ocean, you're plunging under, and you swim back up, you get a breath of air, and then back down you go. And so each time you go under, you wonder, can I climb? Can I swim? Can I crawl my way back to the surface? Or is this the one time where I actually drown? And for many of these authors and singers and artistic people, inventors, anybody who is creating something, that thought enters the mind where, is this it? Can I survive? Will I be able to adapt? Will I be able to come up with something new and bring myself to the surface? Or am I sinking to the depths forever? And one of her special talents here is that bit of theatricality in the face, in the delivery. She has a way of expressing herself which I do not believe can be taught. Just as some are born with great intelligence, some are born very strong with the capability, we'll say, the genetics align with that. They have the aptitude for greatness in certain areas here. And I think that her performance, you couldn't teach the little subtleties that are popping up here.
'Cause I'm dying to live, not sick from the noise. I'll make my way through all that I have to. 'Cause I'm dying to live, not been through the void. Enough.
I don't think she is even consciously aware of so many. They are so minute and micro, yet they add up to this masterpiece visual that is taking place on the screen. You couldn't have somebody come and tell you, well, try moving your eye this way, try crinkling your cheek a little bit, try shaking at this point. I don't think that can be taught. And this is something that has great appeal, just as somebody with a photographic memory would have great appeal. Ask a question and they answer right away. Or somebody very beautiful, you might have noticed, by the way, gets noticed, gets seen, and everyone takes a step back. Oh, wow, follows their figure across the room. It just appeals to the mind. You don't have to question. It just shows up. And that is what Mafra demonstrates here in her videos. She has that innate ability to emote on a level that draws the viewer in. She's no longer idly singing. She has a way of capturing the emotion on a physical level, not just the screaming vocals here.
Celebrate the fact that I have proof. A state of mind I never tried. I know that it's all my fault to justify the darkest time.
It is very interesting to see the choices she makes here, the different covers, as if telling a story of her personal life through each song, unveiling a little more of the emotional depth she is professing out onto the world here. And I look forward to the next one. This has been another hit, I'd say. Not as good to my mind as the previous, just stylistically in the music. Still wonderful, wonderful. Favorite voice, assuredly. And she has such a vocal range that I am curious to see what direction her original works go in to start with. I imagine that Scream will play a highlight, more than just a cameo, especially on the initial burst of releases here. For now, boys and gals, that's all I've got to ramble about. So as always, Ghostmas Past here, gonna be taking a little break. Ta-ta. Now, Mafra, do us the honor. Let me be.